Welcome to Soulcast Podcast. My name is Henri. I'm here to discover the unknown and bring you with me on this adventure by speaking my truth and being inspired by others. Fuck yeah. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We have another guest, and we're gonna reveal him. 1, 2, 3. Henri Liiv. Welcome.
Nice to be here with you today.
Yeah, it's a long time coming, as we know each other from summertime, and we haven't really talked deeply. We're just passing by a few calls, and it's you're a really inspirational person and doing a lot of interesting things, and I'm just happy to have those kind of people here to inspire others as well.
I just noticed that we're actually doing this in English. I didn't think about it before right now.
Yeah. So you produce music, you're a DJ, you're an entrepreneur selling superfoods like lion's mane, cordyceps, and now you gave me a try your new product, what is brain. So let's start with the brain. So what I'm drinking here and what it's for.
Yes, so a brain well, since it's not my first business, like I've created many and I've also failed with many already, but also some things have been successful. And so with brain I wasn't looking for success, I was looking for fun. So that's where the name comes as well. It's because everybody makes super brain, brain gains, brain wash, whatever. Everything is brain something. So we were like, fuck it, let's just call it brain because it's silly and we want silly things to work. So it's been humor from the start. And this whole brand is gonna be just two guys who are gonna have like the maximum amount of fun every day, and we're gonna be public about the fun we have, and then that's what this brand will be about. But this product especially is made for people who like to party, who like to have fun during the weekend, and you know how bad it can feel after a long weekend. You're willing to do anything to get rid of this. You're just out of focus. You might feel sick or anxious, and it's very hard to get back to your, regular everyday dreams and business and goals and so on, because you just don't have the motivation and the energy for it for a few days after a really good party. So as I failed with one supplement business, I suddenly had like boxes and boxes full of supplements at home. And it was also a time where I partied a lot. And I started experimenting with these supplements. And suddenly we got to a combination that it took it all away. 2 nights of not sleeping could easily turn into 1 night of bad sleep. You would still be tired. Sure thing, like you can't replace not sleeping with anything. But you wouldn't feel anxious or out of focus or just depressed, or depressed is maybe too much of a strong word. But you're not feeling down after the party. You just have the good memories. Sure, you're lazy and tired, but that's it. And you're still able to work, to focus, to have a good time, like straight after the party as well, and just enjoy life from point one. It took us about a year of working on the recipe and on the flavors and everything. And what's in there? There are already supplements like that out there. Like people say that if you use MDMA, then later you should take 5-HTP, for example, which scientifically is proven to be extremely inefficient, but still it's a very well-known thing. Then 5-HTP is illegal in Estonia. There are still Estonian companies that sell it despite that it is illegal, but officially you can't sell it. So, like, let's say MDMA decreases your serotonin, and 5-HTP, let's say it adds to your serotonin. So you should get back to the regular level. But we don't do that. Instead of adding these chemicals that you lose when you party, we offer your body like well-selected nutrients, like just go one step below. This is what the brain and the body needs to produce its own serotonin. So we do not give the instant solution, but we're one step behind, and we give the body all the nutrients it needs to just very fast, just recover itself extremely fast. So there's vitamins, there's all the minerals and electrolytes you might need. Then there's different kinds of amino acids that boost your focus. They have a very fast effect if you take amino acids. They boost your focus and they give you more energy and motivation. And then we have our mushroom extracts and one more herbal extract that take care of the long-term health of your brain. So we basically have it all covered. We have the stuff that your body really needs. Then we have the stuff that will make you feel better straight away and will give you this instant boost in motivation and energy. And then we have the stuff that will take care of you like for the next long period of time.
Interesting. And when you started it? Like a year ago, or like when you released the Brain?
It's actually the first packages are being sent out tomorrow, so okay. It's not released yet.
Okay.
We actually mixed the blend and created this package that you saw last weekend, so it's extremely fresh. And we talked about creating this more than a year ago, but then we let the idea sit. Then after a while, we still thought that it was a good idea, and then we started just going through every phase of what it takes to eventually have this supplement. And I think it took about 3 months of business planning, then 6 months of finding the right components and how much to use. And then another 3 months were spent only on the flavor, because many of these sport drinks, they taste okay, but none of them are really good. They still taste like cheap sport drinks, and all of the chemical flavors, they taste also like chemical flavors. So we had to do it naturally, all of it. And it was a process, but I'm very happy with where we got today.
And how many people tested it and said with MDMA or other substances, is it confirmed by your friends or it works?
Yes, we've been testing it on hundreds of people already. Since I organize events and festivals and just go to events and festivals, and then I've been in the supplements industry for a few years now, so I always have like colossal amounts of powders, like vitamin powders and stuff in my home, and I would just take a full bag with all of the components, but maybe they were separately back then, and at one point it was a blend, but it wasn't fully developed yet. But now for this entire past 9 months, every party where I've been to or organized, we've given it to all of the people, and they've all had really great results. So it's as deeply confirmed as I could ever confirm it.
That's good to hear, and the flavor here is really good. I'm surprised, as I'm skeptical about everything, and usually somebody says, "Oh, it tastes good." I don't trust it. And what kind of supplements you take daily, or are you taking them daily?
I'm thinking if I turn the mic a little bit, now it won't catch my breathing.
Yeah.
So I'll also turn mine to the side. I think you can still hear me all right.
Yeah, I can hear.
So regarding supplements, now then I'm giving a recommendation to all the listeners as well. As I am in the industry and I know how these companies work and what's behind the scenes, then my general recommendation is for everybody to take as little supplements as possible. Choose a few things that you can clearly understand, like you have a very clear understanding of how they help you, and find real good quality stuff, and then only take these. Choose one or maybe choose two. But I don't know, 7 months ago I was taking 10 pills a day of whatever stuff is good for the brain. And it's just, why are you swallowing a handful of capsules every morning? It's actually silly. So today I only take my mushrooms. I take all 4 of them: lion's mane, cordyceps, reishi, and chaga. I have them just mixed at home. and I make like a nice cocoa drink with them every morning, and that's just it, because they're very natural, they're very easygoing, meaning that they work on a subtler level. They work more like they are more a long-term project. If you take them every day for a few weeks, a few months, a few years, they keep on working your system, so you feel a bit better every day. You have more motivation. It's easier to focus, and but it doesn't come as a loan from a future you. Versus if you take a strong stimulant drink, like maybe a caffeine and some other stuff in there, or like caffeine pills, then you will get excited for 30 minutes or 2 hours, but after that you will feel worse.
Crash down,
yeah. And there's no need to do that. Like, we have enough time every day actually to do all the personal development. We don't have to use every last option to get like a little bit more done, because you will end up crashing. Like I have crashed so that I can't work for like 4 months straight. I'm just in my bed and super depressed, and just even washing my dishes, I have to take a nap before I wash my dishes. It just doesn't make sense anymore. So if you work too hard, then you crash. And then thinking for the long-term perspective, use the natural stuff. That's why my mushrooms make a lot of sense for me, at least.
I've been there, and lately where I'm working in a warehouse, and I have fast-paced like work routine, and that just wears me out sometimes. And I just don't have energy sometimes to. And what I understood from myself is that I'm consuming coffee too much. I liked coffee with my lion's mane as well, but caffeine is raising your stress levels. So right now I'm still a little bit drinking coffee, but not that much. I was like all the time, it's easy to press a button at work and here you go, a coffee. So that's yeah. And after that, when I was like done with it, or understood that it's just stressing me out so much, I just pulled the coffee out. I started meditate more and to see what is wrong, and how I can power myself up. And that time I was so like out of it. And one thing what was bothering me as well, this work, like I don't want to do it for years and years, I need to cut it out soon as possible. And straight away when I did it, I feel better. Like that's what your soul wanted you to do. And when you do it, it rewards you.
Of course. Yep. And that's the thing. If you go for a lot of coffee or any sort of, like I sell nootropics, but I tell people not to use nootropics, but such is life. You shouldn't use them randomly. Let's say that if you just like take like the combination, you read like, oh, this helps my brain, I'll buy that. This helps, I'll buy that, blah, 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 blah. Then your days are always going to be stressed and productive. Sure, you will get stuff done, but you will be stressed because they do raise your like adrenaline levels, and then that's the oh, let's do it. It comes from the adrenaline, and it kills your creativity on the other side, because if you're stressed, then your mind is usually not busy about the best things. It's busy about things that create more stress. So you got to think like, sure, you want to achieve some things in life, but do you want to achieve them with stress and by constantly being busy and in a hurry, or do you want to achieve them so you're having a nice life? Because then they're actually worth anything.
Yeah, of course, I'm going to choose the nice life.
Well, of course.
But some people don't have even the information to start it, this like relax, you can do it. But this constant pressure from the society that it's built up to, benefit by drinking coffee, being productive, go, go, go. It's like this, and it's static, like, and it robs off you as well. It try to be, like, like this, if your environment is like zzz, and that's what I'm working on. Like I'm pretty empathic, and I can feel other people's emotions as well. So like it's sometimes like I need to step back, because some people like stress me out with their own energy. And it's part of my life to be like a little bit sensitive, but same time I see that being too sensitive is gonna ruin it as well. You're gonna make too much drama about like little things. What was your first mushroom or first supplement what you started to take?
When I was like in high school, then I was a big gym guy. People called me the beach body. And then of course creatine and the protein powders. And this is an example, like let's say creatine. It is extremely simple as a supplement, and it costs like, I don't know, 5 to 10 euros for like 6 months supply. And you can't go wrong with it. You know, you can't. A $40 jar of creatine is worth no more than the $3 creatine. So there's no mistake when you take it. And even today, you know, creatine is usually, people know it as something that helps build muscle mass and gain weight. But actually, it is one of the most efficient nootropics as well. So if you take a gram of creatine a day, your thinking and everything, you will just have a better flow, exactly as buying like a $40 pack of lion's mane. Sure, lion's mane has other deeper health benefits as well, but if we only consider the boost that you get to like this clear-headedness and thinking, then this €4 creatine and this €40 lion's mane are on the same level. But there are some supplements where the producer can vary in quality. Like there's a huge difference in quality, and this is where my lion's mane, you know, it's tested, it's proven to be the world's most potent supplement out there, lion's mane supplement. But you can also, you know, order lion's mane for like 10 times less the price and sell it as lion's mane, but the content within this powder is completely different. So generally, I'd say, you know, if there's room for strange marketing to these products, then maybe it's better to just replace them with a good steak, or if you're vegan, then something like a lion's mane steak, actually, which is a really great thing.
How you do it?
You actually cook it like a steak.
You just rub like salt on it, like the lion's mane?
Yeah, you cook it exactly like a steak. Maybe you just add more butter or something. And amazing.
Well, I need to try that.
Yeah.
With the lion's mane quality, I'm full aware of the like diversity in the lion's mane products. So I tried many different kinds of lion's mane, but first I tried the best one, like in Australia, the expensive one. I had money to try those things, and then I was like, man, it's so expensive for 100 grams. Like I need to get a little bit cheaper. Then I started to like buy from eBay and so on, and it just wasn't that. So I was when I came back to Estonia, and I was like, I need to find the best lion's mane in town. And when I find you, I was skeptical about that as well. Like, and I tried many more, and I was like, man, yeah, your lion's mane is really good. I think as maybe back in Australia, I was smoking weed much more, so I was more sensitive to this lion's mane, and it really works with your, like, it takes the brain fog away, like you can have clarity in your you know, daily life, and that really helped me to get my life together. So yeah, with supplements, I think that you need to choose one and just keep taking that and see where it goes.
Yeah.
I want to ask with the gym, what was it called? I haven't been in gym, and what you called it? Creatine is ridiculous. Okay, I haven't taken it, and I want to ask, like, there's no crash with it.
No.
But it makes your like cells more sensitive as well, like with lion's mane, or like, is there long-term benefit from it, or?
Well, creatine doesn't have this long-term benefit. So the comparison that I made was just like, let's say, in the process of, let's say, you've taken lion's mane for like 6 months. Now you've at the good level of benefits. And then just comparing it, if you take creatine in the morning, or you have experience with lion's mane and you take it in the morning, then the momentary boost in your thinking and cognition is the same. But of course, lion's mane has like bigger and more long-term values.
All right. Seems good. Now we can get to your like other things, what you're doing. As we're talking about your supplements and so on, you're doing your parties and providing people with those. What I like about you, you're authentic. You're being authentic, and you're not for the money. Like making brain just to have more fun and be helpful for those groups of people who having fun like this. So what kind of like this festival, what you're doing every year, so where it started and where you want to go with this?
So I'll start from the money subject, because I think for every listener and for you and me as well, it is a big thing, right? We all need to live and we all have our dreams. So I think like the money is there. It's gonna like you have two choices. Either you try to be perfect, and so many companies do it. They try to show themselves as the carrier of best values, as if every company is like a medieval knight who can also sing and dance and play the lute or something, and it's simply not true. And you can cheat like, let's say, €1 million out of people. It's completely possible. You can do one really good ad and maybe not sell anything, just have a nice homepage, sell a fake product, and you can make something with it. But it's not sustainable, because none of us are perfect, and none of us like cheating in any way or just trying to be better than you are. I think it's mathematics that will never add up. There's no real logic there. So you're gonna be tired by it. It's gonna become work. So instead, I have definitely chosen the authentic way, where people can see my success, but they can also see my mistakes. It's all public and it's all human. So I think choosing that just makes sure that you never have work, because you never have to smile to anybody if you don't want to. And if you're having a bad day or a bad month, then you're welcome to share it with anybody. And then they understand that, okay, this guy also has these human problems which we all hide. So whatever you do, I think the authentic part is like, this is the only sustainable way. And then people will also feel from you, let's say I want to be a public speaker. And then if you fail when doing a public speech, then you might think that it's all over. But actually, this is the part that will touch people. They will see that this guy has been a speaker for 10 years, famous speaker, we paid for the ticket, and now he failed and had to go back to look at his materials and start again. This is the part that you will always remember. Yeah. So
you go.
Yep. So I highly recommend it there. And same with the festivals, like, well, of course, with my businesses, there is money in play, and with my festivals, there never will be. So that's a bit separate from the money. But this is the place where we can really come together as a few friends. There will be never more than a couple of 100 people. And we can just do our best to celebrate for a few days and to really have fun. And there again, it's authentic in the way that we will not try to impress anybody with fancy lights or good performers, or I don't know, whatever it is you impress with the tough face check or whatever can sound as impressive. So we drop all of that, and our performers are in the living room. Even if like this year we have like Armen Miran coming to the festival. He's a huge DJ, like famous worldwide. And I instantly told him that, this is an offer where you can come, play in the living room. You can forget the stage, you can forget the busy crew, you can forget the masses. There will be like 20 people dancing, and that's it. If you want this experience, then come. And he wanted to do this. It seemed like, this is, if you DJ, then you always remember the first few gigs where you were young and you only had you played your music, and then maybe like 2 girls and 1 guy were dancing there for half an hour, and maybe they left as well. But this is your special first one. And we want to take people back to this special first one, both artists and also the guests, like they feel like it's their own party. Because if you go to weekend festival, you're not even thinking about the people who organize it, or you're not thinking about the guy that's like 2 meters away from you. You don't notice them. You're just your trip or your alcohol, and then you're like these massive lights and stage, and that's your experience. It's not personal anymore. This is like official, so we strip all of that and we make sure that everybody can chat, have a good time, connect.
And there's so many drug problems in those big parties as well, like people taking too much, they don't know what they're taking, and it's just gonna be like smashing something on your face.
Yeah.
In the end, you don't have like brain as well, like nobody's giving a fuck. You get home, thank you for money.
Yeah, yep.
It's soulless kind of, and I'm really happy that when I came back to Estonia, I see more and more like conscious parties, that people are not for the money, but they just want to make a conscious party, that people are like can be free there. And I love the chats, man, like in the smoking area, like I love to chat with people, and like everybody's like, but yeah, I totally changed my life over when I came back. I didn't see that kind of Estonia before, and now like here it is, like just conscious people. Like I thought of Estonia as like just kind of this kind of like society that we don't think like spiritually or.
I think that's when that's why we all go abroad for a long time, is that we think that this Estonia is a shithole, I'm gonna leave this place and go to Australia, right? We've been there, me too, and but I think when coming home, then it changed for me as well when I came back from Australia, and it changed extremely fast. Like even before I landed in Estonia, I was invited to my first festival, and like 2 weeks after coming there, I went to this Psytrance festival. The first night I was so scared, I just went and hid in my tent. I was just like, fuck this. That's just a crazy stuff. It was like people are not dancing, they're lying down on the like chill out zone, they're like throwing on top of each other and climbing on top of each other, and the DJ is sitting down and having a cigarette, and I was like, this just doesn't make sense. And then the second night everything changed. I understood that this is completely my scene. This is what I want to do. And I also found all of the people I met on the second night there, they're all my best friends today. They replaced everybody I knew from the childhood and from the past, and it became like a whole new life for me. So this coming home tends to do this.
Yeah, it's similar to me. I came back, but I didn't go to the party straight away. I went on my island. Like I have like a countryside where I can be alone, isolated. There's nobody else at that island. Only wildlife, moose and deer, and kind of like birds, and amazing. And the first party or the second party, it was the siilipidu, hedgehog party, and that party introduced me to a lot of those spiritual people. It was meant to be to get there, and yeah, a few people were still like friends, like good friends, and yeah, my life is totally different now. As sometimes I was like partying too much, and I was like thinking, why I'm partying too much? It's like kind of waste of time. But after those parties, I met so many great people at the parties, and now they've been on my podcast and so on. So those things just meant to be again. But you don't see it when you're doing those things.
Yes, and I think that's very important to have this trust, because we are always doubting, like, is this what I'm doing today? Does it serve a bigger purpose? Or if I've had these down times when I couldn't work, I'm like, okay, am I gonna be depressed and lazy for the rest of my life? It's just it's never ending. So you think it will never end, but the fact is that this state you're in today, whatever you're experiencing today, it's it doesn't end with like waking up and going to sleep. It's a part of a much larger cycle that you're subconsciously creating for yourself. And I think it always takes to a good direction. Like rarely it can take to bad things. Sure, like there are lives that just are miserable and then end even more miserably. It happens, but it's so extremely rare that I think that whatever you're doubting in today or whatever you're feeling today, trust it. Like these negative feelings are giving you like honest critics. These positive feelings are also good direction marks or whatever, street signs. So they're all really pointing you to just moving forward, even if today it doesn't feel like it for some people.
I'm trying to figure out how to listen to myself and the good side. I understand that there's like a voice in me, but I usually like sometimes I listen to really well, everything goes fine, and then I like do some like agree with things what I didn't really want, and I'm struggling to like, listen to that good side because I'm not really separating them, or I don't hear my higher self sometimes, but sometimes I do. And I'm well aware of my ego as well. When I was in Australia, I had the kind of enlightenments and like crazy experiences, and then in one point I thought like, oh, I lost my ego, that I don't have an ego anymore. But when I was living more and more, I understood that not my ego disappeared. I upgraded myself, that I was less egoistic, but that doesn't mean that I lost my ego. And then, it's a constant like understanding yourself. And I was just like, võrdlesin. Comparing myself to others, how their ego level is and mine is. So I thought like I'm better than other kind of like this. And the spiritual ego, so on, like. And and when you realize that as well, that's like ouch.
I know.
And to admit this to others as well, that hey, sorry guys, I was telling you I don't have ego, but I do. Like, it's part of the process. And just to be honest with yourself is really start with yourself and then tell to others. And when I was a young fella, I thought like when I was watching a video and somebody explained me something and told me to do something, I was like, nah, nah, you're not gonna tell me. But who's gonna know? He's not gonna know about it. Or like if I'm listening to you, or like I was, nah, I'm not gonna do that. Just not to give credit to somebody. But now I understand that's the point. Others inspire you inspire others, and that's the point of life, kind of.
Yeah, like that's I think I recognize myself in so many stages, and of course many other people. And like the first good humor is when like we all first discover spirituality. That's when we start convincing our mothers that they need to be vegan and they need to eat shrooms, or we want to give them secretly like some acid and see what happens. But we're terribly angry at the world back then. Like you hate the banks, you hate the big companies, you hate the whatever the governments, right? You actually, there's so much anger at this state, but then you say like, oh, I'm this egoless being that's just not touched by it at all. But you super are, that's like one thing. And of course, at one point you have to admit it, and then then you get to the point like, okay, my mother has the right to eat meat. It's okay, I don't need to scream at her because of that or ruin my family relationship. And there was one more, like where somewhere from what you just said, it'll come back to me. What was it that you said after losing the ego? What was the next thing you were talking about?
Losing that spiritual ego.
You said that you thought you lost that, but then you found out that it's still there. But then you went on another extension of that. Do you remember what it is?
Extension of that.
If you don't, it's okay.
Yeah, I don't. I'm pretty spontaneous with my I don't think through things. I just fire them.
So yeah, it's. I think we all get to that. Like I've totally had that same phase where you said like that at one point you're like admitting that maybe there still was ego in what I did, but the ego is a beautiful thing because it's a super. This is what makes us original. Like if we all lost our ego, then we'll all be like a dark gray matter and just be like cells or whatever. Nothing bad against cells. You're okay, guys. But your ego has like some very strong bonuses and some very strong minuses. And if you try to use it that way, use your weaknesses to learn and use your strengths to learn. Like, I don't know, I generally am a very flashy character. I can be very, like, especially at parties, I can get like loud, flashy, obnoxious, whatever comes on my mind, somebody's gonna get it. So one thing would be to be super ashamed by it, but second, it brings me great friends because actually there are so many great moments I get because of that. And
by being ourselves, we filter out a lot of the people as well.
Of course. Like then the people, you're waving your ego sign and some people can come and other people can run. And in that sense, it's useful. But you can also, say, let's like say I have a really big problem with, I don't know, drinking. Let's say I'm an alcoholic. So I can be either a depressed alcoholic or I can make jokes about being an alcoholic. Why the fuck? I still have this problem. Let's just both take vodka and then I'm gonna get into my trouble shit again, but let's laugh about it, right? So this is where the ego can play out really well because maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a huge demand for YouTubers who are alcoholics and talk about it. So then I use my mistake to become a famous YouTuber who can help many people. So it's both our strengths and our negatives that can bring enormous value to us and to others.
But I have like a year ago when I started my process of when this situation what we're having right now came to light, and I was like, man, what I'm gonna do? Like I haven't done anything with my life. Yeah, I traveled and been to Australia. I'm happy to die now. If I'm dying, at least I saw Australia and I had those experiences. But what the fuck, like people know me about just my family, few friends, and if I die, nobody, like there was no big like value from me. So I knew that I can do better, and it's been a dream to be something better, higher from myself and inspire others. Like it's a kind of like, I don't know, ego or something. But what I understood that like kind of being egoless is possible with I used 3 words back then, like 3 things: that self-love, self-respect, and self-worth. Now I only use self-love because I understand if you have self-love, you have already respect and you have everything, like, and that can replace your ego. That you just self-love yourself, and that's where you look after yourself. You don't give everything away from you, and yes, you compare kind of with other people, with yourself as well, but not in a way that, oh, look at that guy, he has much more, like I don't have. No, it's like they inspire you that there's in some level, and you're like, fuck, maybe I can do it as well. Let's try it out. And then you try it out, and maybe you pass that guy, then you choose another guy like who inspires you, and other people are inspired by you, and maybe somebody passes you and chooses another guy. You look like a really like sound, and how I been like understanding you is you are pretty aware of life. Like one question what I have is who you watch in like YouTube or listen to some podcast, and it's interesting because I feel like there's some of the same information in you that I have. So I want to know where you're getting your information.
I watch an extreme amount of headphone reviews. like extremely many headphone and earphone reviews.
Whoa.
Like I could spend 10 hours a day watching reviews about headphones. So no, there is no deeper content that I follow or look at, but I've definitely done it in the past. I wouldn't go back to name any like big inspirations, because we all have our own path there. I think the two biggest steps, though, have been that I've spent a couple of winters at an ashram in India with a guru who has taught me his ways. And I think the main things that he taught me were that you should focus more on relaxing than productivity. That was one huge thing, that you only need like 1 hour a day of being productive is more than enough if it is actually productive. And then you can spend the rest of the day relaxing. So, but this 1 hour can only happen if you feel super good. So before you focus on getting anything done, focus on feeling good. That's way more important. And in the end, if you're going to die, you're not going to think of your great achievements. You're going to think about whether you felt good or not. So as an investment, just being happy now is worth way more than any €1 million or Oscar awards or whatever. And the second thing that I got from there, the second biggest thing, was the skill to be self-taught. So there, the yoga teacher doesn't show you how to do yoga. He doesn't even follow the course, and you will be with your eyes closed and he will be behind you. So there is no way to look at any guru who is teaching you anything. But instead, he's behind you and he's just telling you what to do in a completely regular voice. It's not like, visualize the great lion in your third eye. But it's just like, I don't know, lift your right hand to your shoulder. Like, that's it. That's what a yoga there is. And at first, you're super confused. You're like, what do you mean he doesn't show me? Then maybe I'm doing it wrong. Why isn't he correcting me? Like, this is a fucking shit ashram. Like, they don't even teach anything here. You're just with your eyes closed and you have to follow instructions. There are so many blockages, and you're so dependent on teachers here in Estonia and in this society that you don't even consider that when somebody gives you an instruction, then you can actually follow it and get a good result. Like it doesn't even spark in your mind as a possibility. You're always checking on your neighbor. You want to see the teacher. Later, you're busy asking questions, the monkey mind and everything. But actually, now, before the ashram, when somebody says, I don't know, raise up your knee, then it's like, okay, I got the command. Now I have to watch a tutorial. Then a teacher has to approve. And then I have to talk to my friends if it was okay. And then maybe I can lift up my knee. After the ashram, when I heard the instructions, lift up your knee, then I could just lift up my knee. But it goes so much further than yoga. It means that actually I can go very deep into new subjects and study extremely fast without the help of anyone approving or any teacher. Like, I'm self-confident when it comes to learning. And I think this is a true superpower that, it's just, from the first grade on, you are repeating what the teacher says, and then you have to, whatever the teacher said, you have to just mirror it back, and that's what you get good results on. And later, as an adult, we're not able to study or think ourselves. So the ashram restored that. I'm very capable of taking on big new subjects and new directions without asking help from anybody.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, yeah. For me, it's what I say to others is think for yourself. Like, don't look at me like for answers. Don't and compare me with Joe Rogan or something. Like, think for yourself. So a lot of people, but Joe Rogan says that. I'm like, hey, but this is Joe Rogan. This is another human, like 7 billion people out there. Like we need to start thinking for ourselves and not look teachers and I'm doing good. Yes, you're doing good. Yeah. Like, come on, guys. And this situation right now, what we have outside, it's not thinking for yourself. That's leading problem, I guess. And Yeah, like every time I like a lot of the people, sometimes at the parties I get to this vibe where I'm just like speaking authentically, and other people just spit out so many deep things about themselves, and then they look at me like, what, why I told you that? I never told. Some people tell me that they killed the person and so on, and like what drugs they have done and so on, and they feel comfortable doing that. So yeah, but in the end, like like the ego, oh yeah, I'm doing good and I'm inspiration for others. But same time, I remember telling myself like, hey, only think what you can tell them, what is really good for them. Think for yourself.
Yeah, and it's just like we are in one sense living in an extremely logic-based society, but it's very illogical. You know, it's like, I don't know, I want to start a business, and then you go to business school. Like, yes, somebody told you it makes sense, but I mean, if you want to go, let's say, if you want to go to business school, go to business school. If you want to start a business, start a fucking business, you know? It's like completely illogical, the steps, and like how, or let's say, I want to lose weight, but I'm not gonna Google nutrition. I'm not gonna Google diets. I just want to lose weight. And then you sort of think like, okay, maybe I should go for a run. And then, yes, you do the run every day, but when you come home, you're tired and you eat more. You know, you're not gonna lose weight. You should Google how to freaking lose weight, you know, and then have like a real system. So yeah, it's a strange clash where everything seems to be so logic-based, but people are not. It looks as if they're not really caring about the result, but more they care. Let's say, like, I want to have a successful business. Let's let it be a next step, right? Then, if you care about success, then you learn from every mistake and every victory, and you analyze stuff and so on. But if you don't care about the result, then you just have like a basic business, and then you go around being like, oh, it was such a great business. And then somebody, maybe there's an unhappy customer, then you call him and be like, oh, fuck you, you unhappy customer. You weren't a normal human being anyway. A successful business guy would call and be like, come for coffee. Let's talk about what went wrong and so on. So I think that makes sense from a truly logical perspective.
I think people like for looking in the internet and finding like, oh, how to do that, it can bring out a lot of static in you as well, because like those people are like speaking about like about their experience, but I think you need to listen to yourself. Like if you want to lose weight, and you contemplate, like meditate on it and see what's the steps, what you can take. And some shit can come out what you have done for 5 years, 10 years. And then you realize like, what the fuck, I need to change that from myself to go to the next level. So yeah, like for me, why I ask what has been helpful for me is like listening a lot of podcasts and so on, and know about like a lot of like this psychology behind humans and this spirituality deeper than like some people, and politics and so on. So I have some bases, but I don't listen to them. I'm contemplating for myself, and I'm listening. Like I don't take it that that's the truth. I need to put my own reality, my own like what I have listened to the past, because I'm listening to things what are repeating. Like a lot of people are believing in the same thing. So I need to think for myself that, is it really like, is this mass thinking that everybody believes in, but that's not the truth. So I'm here to just find the truth, and I made this podcast to invite people from opposite sides. Right now, yeah, it's been like more like, oh, we're pretty similar, like doing some things, like I feel this is like consciousness is behind there. I have met people who are like opposite of me, and I want them on my podcast, and I'm gonna invite them, and it's gonna be fun. Just the opposites, like like having a chat and what I can take from that conversation is gonna be more than having a conversation with the person who are like really similar. So that's a point of conversations.
Yep.
See the opposite.
It makes before I was like, my life was like, okay, there's my way, and then there's the idiots. That was my life, right? But now every day and all the time, I keep finding that I may have one truth that makes a lot of sense for my existence, and the other guy may have a complete opposite truth, but it makes a lot of sense for his existence. So even though the opinions are completely opposite, then there are actually two worlds. Like there's his world and my world where it makes sense. For example, let's say somebody has like maybe grown up in a dangerous neighborhood. So when he gets insulted, he will, for example, I will make a random joke, but he will be insulted and he will hit me in the face, let's say. Did he do wrong? No, that's what he comes from, like this place, I don't know, just this random place in the world, not real, but he comes from a place where such conflicts are settled by fighting. So it makes every sense for this person to fight, and I have no reason to say that he's wrong, because now if I went there, then everybody would be hitting me, right? I still make my jokes because I think the world is a fun place. So I go to this bad place, Hell Island, and I make my jokes, and suddenly everybody is hitting me in the face. So there, I eventually have to hit back. So suddenly they're not hitting me in the face anymore. So whatever beliefs you have, they should serve you. Like you said, you should think for yourself, and they should make sense for your goals and your existence and your larger social circle and anything. But on the opposite side of the world, they don't make sense anyway. So it's very nice to let the opposites enrich you, and understand that our worlds were, I don't know, like killing people, it makes perfect sense if you're a member of a drug cartel. I wouldn't even call it an illegal activity. It's just a part of what's there. Yeah, there is no other way, right? It's not like you have a choice to not kill this guy. You have to do it, otherwise you will get killed. Should I say he did a bad thing? Then I don't feel that he did. Like this is his life, So I think if people, let's say like me, an Estonian who's grown up in a really nice and soft life, like everything is very safe and abundant enough here, like we're not really in danger, or we're not like family, we don't have the problem of food running out or whatever. If I would have like a really honest one-to-one discussion with somebody who comes from an opposite background, very violent and just aggressive, if we could just openly talk and exchange these views, for me it would be the dream, literally. My brain would explode from happiness by doing this.
So I understood there's my truth and your truth. It's the individual truth. But I understand there's is universal truth. But this is beyond this is your truth, this is your truth. I think universal truth is like above it all, that you can see that there's like something deeper going on than just like, oh, I think this is bad, this is good, this is my life, another person, like this is like kind of like a static like kind of truths, or like just. So I'm here to find the universal truth, to like make sense of it. Like those universal truths don't sound even like truths, because they're so out of the normal, and more and more we talk about it, maybe more and more people start to understand what we're talking about. Because a lot of people, even in the first parts, they're get offended, or like something happens with what we speak about, and their experience can offend them, and we don't know, like. What I say as well, that I don't know who's listening to this. So we're talking here, we don't know you. So if you get offended, why? What happened there? So it's not our fault. It's something with you. Like, I'm not saying, but it's, but there is, but it's like something happened with you, not us. We don't know you. Maybe you're somewhere, I don't know.
Yeah.
And but I was there. I was getting offended watching videos. Like, what the fuck? Like, those people don't talk with me. Like, and if I got offended, I felt like now I understand when I get offended or judging somebody, it's in me. It's in me, and I start to look inside, and I understand that, that's what I need to work on, not to be offended.
Yep, and there's a I think let's just take a very modern or current subject would be like, there are people in the streets and just on Facebook shouting that if you make us wear masks, then you are limiting our human freedom and so on, blah, blah, blah. No official document can limit your freedom. It's not possible. The only thing that can limit your freedom is if you give your freedom away. And this is where we get to this universal truth that, you're free to express yourself in any way. And really nobody's coming to limit it. Like, no official document can take it from you. But since I think people, they don't have enough faith in their universal freedom, then suddenly when somebody writes an article about having to wear masks, then they're all shouting everywhere because they think that's now their freedom gone. It isn't gone. It's just they never had freaking freedom. That's why they're screaming. Finally, they have somebody to blame. Because to be honest, like if I go to a store and I have to wear a mask, then by not wearing a mask, am I being free? Or am I making the security guard feel really shit? Is it like part of my freedom to make the security guard feel really shit? Or can I just do it for this 5 minutes and not care,
Why you think he feels shit about it?
Because he has to come and tell me to wear the mask, and then I have to argue with him, and then
Like why you why you think that?
Why I even consider it? Well, I think
I haven't had those experiences. I don't wear a mask in shops, in the buses, whatever. I don't put the mask on.
Yeah.
So that's like. I come in different place. Like my understanding of this, like psychology and like wearing mask, the symbol of the wearing a mask, and what laws are taken in right now from European Union. A lot of places are like limiting speech and so on. This is happening, and I'm full aware of it, and I don't want to play this game, what is played right now around the world. So when I go to shop and it haven't happened, I'm surprised as I'm going confident in, and I'm not really thinking about it. And yeah, I see a lot of people like showing like, oh, this guy doesn't wear a mask, and that I just go by my life, and I don't think they're like, if they come to me, I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, I'm gonna leave. Can I buy my few stuff and then leave? I don't have a mask and I don't want to wear a mask. Like, I'm super polite. I'm not gonna start arguing. Like, and the media is representing those people who don't wear masks. Oh, conspiracy theories. Oh, they don't know. Oh, they believe in aliens. Oh, lizard people. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? And a lot of people come to me. Oh, you don't wear a mask. Are you believing in that? Do you believe in that? Oh, lizard people. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, this is what media is telling you that those people are. Not that you ask me legitimate questions and like start to think for yourself that who I am. You have already some like ideas who I am.
Yes.
Like, come on, guys, think for yourself.
Yeah. It's and it's excellent that we found like an opposing behavior with us, but actually it goes to the same opinion. When the corona period started, the first lockdown, I was organizing parties every 2 weeks, and they were the wildest parties we were ever had. And then everybody, they were like writing to me being like, oh, you are the killer in society, you are the doom and the death of everyone, and like I will never participate in a party that you ever do again. And they were threatening to come with friends and beat us up, and there was just like everything. And we were just doing our thing. That's exactly what you said. It was never about rebelling against the coronavirus. It was much. You think it's such a complex algorithm, but it was super simple. It was lockdown. We had too much time. So naturally, when the weekend came, we wanted to party, and we partied hard and with many people, and not one ever got the coronavirus from our events. So today, we could say there are two types of people. There are the mask wearers, and then there are the lizard people, right? Lizard people. So as soon as you wear or not wear a mask, you're like one of them.
Judged.
Yeah, and you're judged either way, because those guys don't think for themselves. Maybe this Hendrik guy, maybe he was just minding his own fucking business. So I'm trying
That's
to...
exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's where I'm trying to get, like, whatever is happening in society, if you become a non-mask wearer or a mask wearer, you've already given up your freedom. If you're fighting against the game, then your freedom is long gone, because the game involves you fighting against it. You can't just mind your own business, and that is like the golden thing you can do in life, is to not consider what society is doing. You have your freedom, I don't care if it's tanks out there, we would still be having this conversation and it wouldn't bother us.
Shut up.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Like, that's why I'm doing those conversations here, to just bring those things out. For me, this is new information, like how you thinking about this. And for me, I'll wear a mask only when I'm sick. Mm-hmm. That's proven, and like from World Health Organization and CDC, they both said this, that if sick people all wear mask, we're that good. But if everybody wears a mask, it's gonna involve even more sick people. And yeah, I'm not I'm kinda against the mask. Like, I just don't think this is right. But same time, like, I'm a hypocrite if I'm saying that and wearing a mask, I'm sick. So like I don't fit in both ways. I recommend mask. Like, if you're sick, come on, like, put it on. In Japan, there's a lot of research done that if people wear a mask if they're sick, boom, you're not gonna make people even more sick, like, around you. So that's a way to go for me.
And it's so funny to see that the same people, or not all of them, but many people that were, how do I say, the people that were protesting against my Corona parties a year ago are the same people that now are protesting against masks. So there's no thinking involved. They're just screaming, They were screaming at me back then for not wearing a mask, and now they're screaming at people for wearing masks. It's funny.
What I understood when this Corona stuff happened, as I had a lot of information, like 10,000 hours of watching podcasts and so on, I just calculated how much, like, when I'm at work, I just have a earphone on and just information constantly coming in. I don't know if it's good and bad, because I never make sense of it. I don't have this whole thing. Like, it was back in the days, it was like support, like, oh, this is me, like, I have these ideas, I believe in this. Now I just, like, every day I blow my mind, like, literally. So when this thing happened, of course I had a little bit scared, like, maybe it's, like, really bad, and they didn't want to close the like down as well. Then I was like, man, like, maybe they're, like, risking with people that let's shut it down, like, let's see what's going on, how big of a threat is this virus, and then open it up again. We did this, we locked it down, but we never opened again. It's like a slow squeezing. Like, let's squeeze a little bit, then we release it. Oh, people feel. Yeah. Then we squeeze it again, and how far we can go, then people start to break. We're really close right now. Like, all over Europe and world, people are protesting, and those are the same people who protested for making the measures even more, like, restrictions, more like no, like it is right now.
Yeah.
And those same people are waking up now and start to protest against police, not to do those things. So we're kind of hypocrites. We don't think this through, and we don't think like,
Yeah.
okay, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, we're like interacting it like, I need to do something right away.
Yeah. So there we come to the point that mask or no mask, coronavirus or no coronavirus, the fact is that the only reason why you went out there to protest is because you're anxious and you don't believe the world is a good place. Like if you're protesting, then obviously, like, that's like my teacher in India said that, we say rosat prillid, like you walk around with pink glasses. That's when you see everything as better than it actually is. But now we are walking around with shit-colored glasses, We're like, the world is a shithole, but at least me and my friends are okay. So it's just like you as a human being have some inert anxiety and shit in you that needs to be washed out so you can relax and play the guitar, or just have a conversation with a friend, or maybe call your mom who you haven't called for 3 months because you're so busy doing the career thing or whatever the fuck it is you think is so important. But like, and the fact that you have some internal anxiety that causes you to protest, why are you protesting against feeling a little bit bad or this anxiety? Like, it's life, we want to achieve more, we want to have less bad experiences, we want to feel better, we want like more quality, and if we don't get it, then we're anxious and restless and it's hard to focus and you can get depressed or whatever. But it's human. You don't need to blame it to anybody else, or you don't have to even run away from it. We, like in Corona times, if you feel bad, you can always buy something online, It won't make you not feel bad. It will just spend your money. So I think to understand that, we're all human and we all have good and bad days, it will just, so much more peace and love will be in the world if we're okay with that. And maybe you had a bad month, be happy with that, just be happy with feeling bad for a while.
So I'm super hearing you to relax, and I see this is missing from me, that I can relax more and put that 1 hour productive action that on your dreams, and it's gonna like gain every day 1 hour and you're like more done than ever. But same time, I see that there is corruption above us. It's deep down, and this system is like we if we interact with the system, want to change the system in the system, we're not going to do that. If you want to change the system, you change it outside, because that's not controlled by the system. So I just see there's like deep corruption, and that's why I'm kind of protesting and like speaking about this thing, because I see it in the different, like I don't wear shitty glasses. I try to like take all the classes out. I just want to observe it how it is. I don't. I want to take my ego out much as possible, to not judge anybody. And it's super hard. It's super hard. I've never done something more harder than this, to be more aware of your own like beliefs and so on, where they're coming from.
But name like one example of corruption.
So what I wanted to say, do you know Edward Snowden? He came out to really like, this is what the documents he released are truth.
Yep.
So this is fucked up, that those people who come out with those corruptions are put in jail. So what he says, that this system is run by criminals. So that's why it's happening. So that's why all over the world this is happening, because we're run by criminals. And everybody, those health workers and everybody's just doing their job. So they don't know how this other people's jobs are affecting other people's lives. And in the larger picture, everybody does their job and they don't know what they're controlled about. And if you're more sensitive and oh, I don't want to hear that, oh, that's more, you can be more manipulated by that, because you're not brave enough to face those things what are like stressful or making you anxious or so on. Some people are scared about the system, like they see that, oh, this is the big brother, oh, I need to be scared, like, oh, like I do what the big brother says and I'm gonna be safe. That everybody knows that, like, if you follow the rules you're gonna be okay. But the rule breakers, like Elon Musk and everybody, like, they break rules, and that's why they are like that. They had this confidence, they're actual, like, not actual, authentic. And by that, they do things what other people like don't do. And through that, I think society, if more people gonna do that and think for themselves and think deeply and look into the dark places in the world, we're gonna be more helpful. But I take this today that relax, because I have a problem with it. Too much information. But I think there's something what I'm like, I don't know what I'm searching for, but I know it's coming. Like something realization, or like I try to be more like this hippie guy who doesn't look news and so on, and like, but I felt it's not real, or it's good to try out things as like doing drugs or like doing some yoga or meditation, or some things stick with you forever, some things just passing through. So I think you're actualizing yourself is to try things out, and just take some things what are benefiting you and leave some things, and in a year you maybe leave those things for better things.
Yeah, that's fine. I 100%, I do not believe in any corruption or bad in the world. And I mean, there is there is corruption within some like little sectors, of course, because let's say if you have a business which, I don't know, makes $1 billion a year, right? So naturally, first of all, you're going to protect your business interest. And generally, as a person, you want to do the right thing, but we're all imperfect, I'm sure if I got $1 billion today, I could hurt and damage many people just by making decisions that I think are good, but which actually cause so much harm to the people around me and are so problematic. I wouldn't have the skills to handle this responsibility. And I think in that sense, these people, they're also human. They don't have to have the skills to manage the world, And if you're one of the 10 richest families in the world, then any decision you make is going to have it's going to influence everybody. And you're going to make some good ones and you're going to make some bad ones in that sense. So I would never connect it as like worldwide corruption, but rather that they're still trying their best, but they're also still human. And we can't avoid the fact that, yes, there might be a family that also passively controls most of the governments, let's say. But these people can't avoid it either, because all of these, they have 200 years of business interest in this. I think it's more human than it comes down to being bad. Or when I look at the life of Hitler and what he became, then if you look at his childhood and you look at how he grew up and in what society he grew up, it was extreme oppression from all the European countries. They were ripping Germany to pieces and taking every cent, and they didn't have jobs, they didn't have food. So naturally, in the end, there's gonna emerge this one guy that's gonna start fighting a war with all of them, because for his entire life, these people have taken everything from him. He hates them. It's natural, So in that sense, it also goes down to the huge businesses and everything, that they're again products of their society, and they also make mistakes. I'm sure if Hitler would have seen how it all ends, then he would have chosen different, but he saw this reality. And I have myself lived with one of the world's richest families for a few months, and I have to say that spiritually they, and just like as a person, they were literally like the smartest and nicest and most balanced people I have ever met. And from there I understood that the only way to achieve this gigantic success, where you are one of the 1% in the world, is only if you are a really, really good person. And they also, when I asked them, like Rockefellers were their good friends, and JFK was a friend of theirs, and so on. And I asked, what do they think about the other bad people on the top? They said, there's no bad people on the top. The bad people are the people who are almost in the top, because they still have ambition. But the people who are on the top, doesn't matter if the economy is falling, they make money. If the economy is rising, they make money. They have unlimited power. You might say like, Bill Gates wants more power. Why would he want more power if he controls anything anyway? He doesn't have.
But a person without medical license and anything, why he's interacting with the vaccines and so on? So if he doesn't want to, like he has everything, why the fuck he's doing that? So that's why people are concerned that if he has everything, why he has still an agenda in it.
Well, I think if you're at that point, I honestly think that your only agenda is to help out. I'm sure there are other examples. I'm not saying there's no bad happening in the world.
No.
Like
I understand.
There's people who have these agendas, but it's extremely unlikely that such successful people have these agendas. It's we who are grown up as these hustlers that think that everybody has an agenda. But if you spent like 50 years living in wild abundance and you could have anything you ever wanted, then I think you're going to want a lot less than what you and I would buy if we had a lot of money. I think we would go for like big houses, big cars, cocaine, But if you've had it forever, then you still want your like hamburger,
Yeah, like a lot of rich people say that those things, they don't get excited anymore. So a regular person, if he had this Ferrari, whoa, for them, like it doesn't excite him. That's what brings that worry again. Like if nothing excites them, what's the next thing? So if you're super smart as well, you can do some behind the scenes, and if you have this massive power and influence over people, so that's a high what you can get. That's like, look at those weirdos now putting a mask on. Like, fucking hell, we made a fucking joke. We made a fucking joke, man. Like 2 years ago. Oh, let's do something sick with the world. Like, can we put the mask on everybody?
Yep.
Let's try it out. Like, and then they planned, and this happened. I'm not saying this happens. I'm just I just like think that there is like this human, like you're saying, this human, and being human is like, I've been making so many mistakes, like gross things, like whoa, like, and this is being human, and I see this human in everybody. As Bill Gates, all the millionaires, they're just humans, and we can fuck up. And this can be part of this fuck up. It doesn't mean that, everything is bad. I'm in, danger of losing my freedom. But again, I'm still aware. I'm like, if like those policies and stuff are pushed through right now, I see that this can affect us, but power is in hands of the masses.
Yes,
that's the ultimate truth, and the elites and so on, they're scared of it as well, because like if we're gonna use this badly, we can fuck up all of the world. So they have the same power; they can fuck it up as well for us. just pressing a button. But weekend psychology, like, whoa, like this is happening, and then we go to the streets and fucking mess around, and then we maybe having an even worse thing. So yeah, I'm not for the like, oh, let's go riot and so on. I'm more like riots are going on, like people are protesting. I'm like, man, I'm staying home, like maybe having a chat, like a podcast, and thinking deeply like what we can do. But I would go if there's like singing, love, like we freed Estonia back in the days. If this is happening again, I'm going, like, fuck the corona. I'm just gonna go sing and like see, and no violence. And I want to be there. If somebody starts to throw a rock at the police, I would stop that. Fuck you, man. Why you're ruining a peaceful protest?
Yeah.
Like, this is why I would go there, to keep the peace. I'm not fighting against them. I'm not fighting the police. I'm not fighting the aggressive people. I understand they're humans as well, but we need to watch out for each other. Because we're all in it together. Like it or not, we're breathing the same air, what has been here for millions of years, and your your bacteria is gonna be all over the world anyways. Like now we're
my
traveling.
germs.
Yeah. Join the world.
But imagine if somebody actually did a joke and this caused the world to wear masks. Like, wouldn't you appreciate the humor? It is wildly funny.
But
if somebody did that,
it, you know.
Well,
at some point, you know.
But who cares? Like, who the hell cares? Like, in the end, for 2 years, 8 billion people wear masks. Like, do some photos and show it to your kids. I mean, or you know, it doesn't matter. Like, picking all of these sides and on, it's just like there is an element to humor to life. Like, and if you're listening and you have the potential to cause another worldwide silly thing like this, then please do, because you obviously have like more means to do great humor than I do, and I'm rather jealous, not angry at you. I think that's like the key to freedom is like whatever. Let's again go to the masks subject. Whatever is side you on, or whatever things you believe in, whatever makes you up as a person, like we have some core values and some beliefs, then also understand that they're only important for you. And you can't use them as a shield or anything. And sometimes you have to let go of these as well. If it's just 30 seconds, or, you know, just understand that, you know, let's say I'm Henri, let's say I am Christian. So it doesn't mean that I have to throw rocks at Buddhists, right? Or deny Buddha impassively. It doesn't matter. I can still go and read this book and get my inspiration from it. And that's the freedom of having like your core beliefs, but also constantly being able to explore what other genuine beliefs there are. So again, like you talked about, you know, I don't really have an opinion about masks at all. I just don't care, and that's the reason I wear them. But just like having this discussion, let's say, where I would say I'm a believer in masks and you are, let's say, a very strong non-believer in masks. If we can honestly talk about it and what causes these emotions and what inside us triggers us, and just share that and still go home with our opposite beliefs, then that's world peace, you know, and that's freedom.
I think that jokes can go bad.
Yeah.
You can cause more, like, oh, it was a joke, and some person gets killed, or like we lock everything down and a lot of people lose their jobs and so on. It can cause more disaster and trauma in the world. But I'm again saying that maybe we need this, because all of the, like, if we're in a turmoil, like we feel really bad, that made you to stop, meditate. You found out something, you made decisions to change it, and now you're living a better life. It started because we had this shit. So I see this needed to happen. That human race couldn't go on like it went before. But again, there's like some things pushing in a way that there's like some agenda what a lot of people don't like. That's why this thing is going on, that if you watch some Bill Gates videos, thousands and thousands of people just putting dislikes, arguing like, whoa, this guy, blah blah blah. Like people feel something, they have some feeling inside, and like when you ignore your inner like this voice, you're gonna fuck up in some point. Like this is like saying something, and a lot of people have this feeling like if you don't like do nothing about it, it's just gonna go in a ways that they didn't listen to public and they made decisions for us, and now we are in here. So like I want to like make people more not make I would love to see that people are interacting with politics, are more aware what is going on, so we can, you know, put our ideas in there as well, and not to feel small, that, oh, I'm small, Henrik. Now you're part of this 7-8 billion people. Like, fuck others and fuck you as well. Like, fuck me. Like,
fuck everybody.
Like, kind of we're same, you know. Like,
this is a clusterfuck.
Like, why we take so serious? Like, why we feel so this pressure from the society to wear a mask or something? Some people feel afraid. Like, if I don't wear a mask, or somebody comes and says something, and I don't want that, then I don't give a fuck about that. That's it. Like I live for that. Like, oh, you say something different, like we're having here. Like that's the thing. Why I'm living. It's not that I'm ignoring that. I wouldn't do this. Like, shut it down. You said it enough. I need to contemplate now.
Very good. There was this one lady that just like, I don't know, picking like rice from the store or whatever. I was just choosing. And then she turned from behind the corner, walked straight towards me and was like, 2 meters, 2 fucking meters. And she kept on walking and I backed up, and she was literally just like commanding me to go out of her way constantly, because she was on her path, and I obviously was ignoring the 2 meter thing by allowing her to get close to me.
Hey, people go crazy here in those times, and like a lot of people just enough, you know. Like, I'm at work and I like talk with people, and I feel the stress from this, like watching the news and like not thinking for yourself. And what I'm doing is like activating this, like thinking for yourself. And I see this is happening like with my friends and people, like, hey, think for yourself, and it works. I don't know, like it works.
It's the simplest thing. Like I once asked a friend, he was just promoted to become like the manager of his warehouse or something. He was also working at a warehouse, and then suddenly he was managing all of these other guys. And then I went to him and asked, like, hey, I really have this problem that, you know, I'm working with this one person, and this person is so dependent on my opinion, and I can't find a nice way to say it to her, that it's always I'm gonna explode and tell it to her, or well, it's just bad whenever I talk about it. I was like, can you tell me what you say to your people? And then it's like, yeah, I just say, think for yourself. And I always had this huge drama of, now we're gonna start discussing things and blah blah blah. And then I also tried, I was like, think for yourself, and this person came up with a really good opinion. That was it. So these 3 words are really magical. Yeah. It's a very simple thing, but you know, if you say think for yourself, somehow there's a blockage in me which doesn't allow to accept it as think for yourself. I need like 10 books and 5 online courses on it. And of course they pay a lot of money, because good courses pay a lot of money, right? So I'm going to spend like 3 months salary on understanding these 3 words and then reading 10 books. And still I would come back to you and be like, what were you talking about? You know, I think that's the white person mindset, you know, whereas the first 3 things, like think for yourself, they were originally good. And we as people too, like the ideas, our first ideas, they are actually good. We are good in our essence, and we are really capable and really successful and really motivated. It's all in us already. We just don't believe that.
Well, I think the deeper, like we're programmed. So the society, school, puts us to think in a ways like how you are. Like it's like the universe. It's the truth. What is masked as universal truth, but it isn't. But masses are believing that. So you are too. So to think for yourself is to think that outside of the box, outside the question those people, question yourself, question question everything. That's 3 words again what you can use. Question everything and yourself.
Almost 3 words, yeah.
Yeah.
But actually question everything would be 3 words. Yeah.
So that's helping me out as well. So I was like 2 years ago as well that I listened to everything I need to know, like I said, and still, how I got out of it is like fuck it, I'm just gonna try it, thinking for myself and figuring it out on the way there, and this is working better than just knowing everything or like.
Yeah. I think for yourself is an excellent how do you say, it's the topic of this podcast actually. Like throughout this we were talking about being able to study yourself or learn new things yourself, then we talked about making your own decisions for yourself, and also if there are some decisions made in society, then you still can think for yourself. And again, it's like also the same with my Tantra ashram, where I spent like a couple of winters in. Like at first, everything they taught us there, it seemed so simple that I was just like, fuck, that's just some successful guru talking, but that's not my life. These truths don't concern me. I still have to go the complex way and the hard way and work my ass off for success and everything. I still didn't let go, and now I'm so much like more free and more like happy and successful and whatever you may call these things. And now I look back and I was like, hey, this guy was like right all along. Like I never needed to take this complex, hard, stressful journey of a few years that I had. Relax and think for yourself, and you can only think for yourself when you are relaxed.
So what I see about you don't hold the image. Like you're kind of like, I don't hold the image as well. I can change myself if you give me enough information, and I need to try it out for myself. Like I can't believe in something what you said. It can't sound really logical and rational and whatever. Like, but it can't be, like you need to test it out for yourself before believing anything. Yep. And that's question it, question everything.
And it's let's say. Let's pick 2 examples, of 2 different truths. Let's say both people want to be free, and now one really wants to be a business owner, and the other really wants to be a marketer. Now both of these people know how to own a business, and both of these people do know how to market. Like it's an inherent piece of this setup. Like that's what you do. But if you really want to be a marketer, then you shouldn't so much make your own business as much as you should find a really good marketing job, because there you are stripped from all extra responsibility, and you can only focus on the one thing that you love. If you really want to be a business owner, then you shouldn't be a marketer, because otherwise you won't have time to actually manage the business. So you need to make these decisions based on yourself, really. And I think there will be another type of person who doesn't want to be a business owner, doesn't want to be a marketer, and really wants to be a gardener, right? But like you shouldn't mix these. You should understand where your set belong, and that's where, like you said, that you can accept another person's truth, but you don't have to accept it as your truth, because you need to see if it makes sense with your goals and your life. Like if you want to be a marketer, then believing the truths of a gardener would be highly damaging. It doesn't mean that gardeners are idiots and should be in jail.
Stay alive.
Yes, I mean, they are perfectly happy people, but you can't mix these two words, but you can still have a great time together and, you know.
Yeah, what I see from this world right now is that we're trying to like make people kind of similar, or like this identity politics and this like what's going on in America. Why I watch politics in what's going on in America, because this is affecting 100% Europe and Estonia. Like we're just a dog of world, like we're just here, blah, blah, blah. But these world things are like affecting us more than we realize, that we're not independent really. We're affected about this world. But yeah, like I don't know, like as I'm searching for the universal truth. I think you bring it out really well, that if the gardener or marketer, they have different lives, and the gardener's truth is this, and the business owner truth is this, and they can't mix, and that's the universal truth. I don't know if something higher from that explains even more better. Of course, if we would have the chat for hours more, we can come even more closer to the universal truth. I think Jordan P. Peterson, a lot of people don't like him, but I think he has made a really, really like this simple facts, but people don't like it because it's like those sensitive people who think that we're the same, and all the like some people call up, they just made the like example of lobsters and how the hierarchies are created and how humans are similar to that. Then they make a joke. He just wanted to simplify how like people think, or like how the world is, but people don't like it. And I'm trying to do the same thing, just simplify the universal truths and psychology behind our thinking. And yeah, as simplified, I want to say that you're a DJ and producer, and I like music. I have done my own tracks, some drum and bass tracks and hardstyle and some chill step. So I'm like, I love music, and we can end with your projects and what you have done with the music area.
Actually, the music thing is really it's been on hold for 2 years already, and it's now even gotten to a point where, like a year ago, I was still performing sometimes, but now nothing would make me want to perform anymore either. And I still consider myself a musician, and I still consider myself making music. So it's a very interesting journey of letting go. You know, I've been selling my gear because when my business was not doing good yet, then I needed my money. So I sold all the gear I had accumulated through the years and was living off of that. And every instrument that you sell and every controller, it's like letting go of this once dream. But I think through that, the dream is becoming way more specific and detailed. Because I think I will get back to music, and I will come back much better at one point. But I was in a point where I was so stuck in becoming successful with music that it was just choking my life. I hated business, but I also hated working. So there was no money anywhere, right? And I only wanted to make music. But when I began making music, well, in the end, I was already so stressed because I wanted to make it so bad that nothing would come out for like a year or something. They were all like failed attempts. So I started from pretty much zero, and then within like a year or a year and a half, I was voted as the world's best newcomer in my genre. And the second year as well, I was among the world's best releases in my genre.
What genre?
I think this one was Sybient, but it was all sorts of psychedelic downtempo that were mixed under this one name.
side dub and so on.
Yeah,
I listened
exactly.
to some tracks. It's
I listened to some
drugs. Some tracks I listened to, and you said in some podcast, I think it was the early one, that you don't know what kind of, or it's new, and I was like, man, I think it's Psy Briant or Psy Dub, and something mixed there. Now it's like nobody knows even what the genre it is, because it's so mixed, and everybody uses like, oh, this is this.
Well, it was definitely an exciting journey. Like I do consider myself good in the studio, and it makes it even more fun to not do it, sort of. And but at the moment, my skills are so rusty that even if I open up like the synthesizers that I've been using for years, and took me like 2 minutes to imitate any sound in the world with this synthesizer, then today I don't know how to do the most basic things there. Like I just don't remember. I will have to relearn again, but I think that I was so stuck in this dream. And I did achieve this, like some success, like I just said, and I made some money with music, and I did like a few mini tours. Like we went to the Baltics and did some gigs in Russia, and there were some things there. I was even at Burning Man, playing music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I wanted to ask. It just came out naturally. Yeah. I don't need to ask anything. Ah, shit. Well, we need to cut it off so soon. And just
but I do hope to be back, and I think just being so stuck in your dream, you're never gonna see the solution. So I hope that now, after a few years of having a break, or however long it lasts, the next time I come back to it, I'm not trying to achieve so much, and then I can actually be creative.
Yeah, more creative. As you lose those things, what you hold it. And you can relearn something else.
Yep.
I think that's the perfect way to go. And you're on the path of a lot of things. And I'm just super excited to see what the fuck are you gonna do next.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Do come to the event 4th to 8th of August.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay for the ticket next week, and I'm coming, man.
Yeah, awesome. It will be so amazing.
Yeah, I saw the pictures of those last parties. I think if you said like, oh, I don't want to impress with the lights, I already was impressed with the pictures, like the lights and the people.
I mean, it
out
still
there.
Looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, like it's natural. It's not the commercial mass. I'm so excited to be there, and in this time of age, like if you can have a festival or like a party, fuck yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm super excited. For last words, last podcast, what you did, you said pretty good stuff, but you have said really good stuff. This perfect podcast. I'm super happy. So yeah,
glad to talk with you here. Like, just happy to come here. It was a long time in the making, like you said. My talent trips are always like everybody's been waiting for me like a month or 2 months, and I have like 48 hours to do everything. And I'm a nervous wreck when I get home. I'm so hungover, not only because of the drugs, but because even driving to Tallinn, my heart is already like, okay, now it's gonna be like the most intense, busy time, and it's just it's wrong. So this time I decided this is the one time after like half a year I will come here and not hurry fucking anywhere, and feels so good.
But this is the city lifestyle as well. We need to go. A lot of things to do. And I just feel the frequency of like cities, and it's just sensitive person kind of.
Yeah, of course that does play a role for sure.
Yeah. All right. Let's make this last picture together. Like,
there.
Yeah, man. Watch it again. Thank you, buddy.
Did you press the button actually?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's all good.
Nice.
Bye-bye.
Bye.